Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new edition of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Well, it may sound a little nasally today. These allergies here, the wind is kicking up in Southern California, but nevertheless, I am doing what I love most, and that's talking about podcasting, interviewing people. But today, you're home alone with me, and I want to continue to answer questions that people are asking me concerning the Podcast Academy online. So let's just get started. First question is, what does podcasting have to do with me being an author or an entrepreneur? Wow, that's a good question. It has a lot to do with you. Very relevant that you would put podcasting with your being an author. Because for one thing, well, ask yourself this thing. Why did I become an author? I obviously have somebody that I know is going to read the book, that I hope to read the book, to purchase the book. You want to get yourself before your audience. And podcasting is an excellent marketing, branding tool for you. So other people can talk about your book, and everybody loves word of mouth. It's very, very powerful. But there's nothing like hearing you speak about your book in your own words. They'll catch your own deep insights that come even after you write your book. I know that's what I found to be so. You write from the core of that being in the now and what you know, but since it is your truth, as time goes by, you grow, that expands and it grows. And when you talk about your book, then you are able to give juicy nuggets that just really enlarge the experience and the application of what you are giving your readers. So nobody can really interview, talk about, review your book like yourself. It takes on a whole nother life when somebody can see you, hear you, our voice inflection. If we're doing video, of course, they can see your excitement. But audio has also a way of just picking up the very essence of your love and your appreciation and the time that was spent into creating that book. You're able to give that energy out like no one else is. So that's why a podcast is relevant and necessary for an author. And an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. It's visibility. No, everybody needs visibility. And since COVID-19, most of us are on the internet, and there are a myriad of summits and workshops and all kinds of things out there. And if you position yourself before your audience, then people are going to know who you are, what you're all about, what your business is all about, what is your message, who is this person, what are they like? And what I have found is if you consistently show up as that person, people are going to follow you. You won't even know that they're following you, that you won't even know that they're picking up and just they're really hoping that you are the real deal and you are somebody that they can reference out or even connect to. So it's relevant for you to become a podcaster. It's imperative that you become a podcaster when you are an entrepreneur, when you are when you're an author in particular. I can't even say enough about that, but we'll go on to the next question. Okay, this is an interesting question. What does podcasting have to do? How does that work with my background? Interesting question. And as I think about it, I'm taking it from the point of view, we're looking at a person's background concerning they're an entrepreneur, what industry they're in, maybe what part of the country they're coming from, the subject matter. All of that, I'm taking all of that into consideration as I'm reading this question. And the bottom line is that there are over 700,000 active podcasts going on now. That was in January of 2020. Since COVID-19 has struck, I'm sure that a lot more people have just thrown their hat in the ring and they're getting their message out there. I say all that to say, because people are of the understanding that people are listening to podcasts. And there's a very interesting point that goes hand in hand with this. They're not only listening, they are listening all the way through. So how I can't remember how many million people we have in plan here on planet Earth. And when you think about our interests, when you think about what we want to study, our what we need to know, what we want to know, and there are so many listeners just waiting for that message. I would venture to say that whatever your background is, whatever your thought, your teaching, whatever your business is, there's somebody out there who is waiting for your information. Now, you may have a large group of people. You may have a niche that is just bubbling and bursting over with a bunch of people with waiting ears. And you may have niched that down so low until there's a very select amount of people that are going to listen. But nevertheless, that audience is there and they're waiting. So this brings me around to a very interesting question that I answered on an interview that I was on recently. And we concluded that no matter what your industry is, there is an audience for you. You have customers, don't you? You have people that are on your mailing list. You have people that buy from you. So those are your customers. And if you have them, then there are more. It's just a matter of reaching them. So to answer the question, all backgrounds, the podcast, the industry, podcasting, it does not take any captains there. It does not exclude people that are listening to all kinds of things. As some people may say, the weirdest conversations can come up, but I'll bet you somebody's waiting for that conversation. They will subscribe and they will follow. So there is no discrimination when it comes to podcasts and a person's background, what they're bringing to the table. There just isn't anything like that going on. Let's go on to the next question. Oh, you know what? I'm okay. I'm going to go to the next question, but it's just asking about equipment and that type of thing, and we'll get into that. I just want everybody to understand that last question about your background and everything. When we say that podcasting does not discriminate, it's for everybody. Please know that we're not saying you're throwing spaghetti up against the wall and hoping that it will stick. No. You are appealing to your audience. You are giving the needs, the wants. As they say, you are discovering what keeps that person up at night, no matter what that industry is that you're in. And you are giving them what they want, supplying their need, answering the questions. And we all know there are so many questions. And can we be honest? There are so many fears since COVID-19. Some people have to, as they say, pivot. I say reinvent. There are so many people there, don't know how to do it, don't know what it looks like. So if they are in the entertainment field, if they are, say, counselors coming from the school system, and now they want to go into e-learning, that type of thing, what does that look like? There are so many conversations that people are waiting for. I know when I came out of corporate, I wanted to know what it was going to look like to become a podcaster. What, at 61 years old, what was this transition going to look like? What was going to happen financially? What was going to happen as far as success goes? Because you know that you're taking a big risk, but what does this risk look like? I wanted to find all of that up under one umbrella, and I couldn't find it. I didn't find it up under one umbrella. So I created the umbrella. I made the space. So you do the same thing when you are, when you are podcasting or you are a guest. It doesn't matter what your industry is. It doesn't matter what your subject is. It really, really doesn't, because there are so many people looking for answers, and you can answer that person's question. You can get them going in the right direction. Then, you know, appealing to people's emotion. When we are afraid, you can appeal to that emotion. People are anxious with answers, you can appeal to that answer. You don't have to know it all yourself. You just know what you know, and you give that out. That's sufficient, because you are going to be a lifelong learner, I'm sure. And there's so much information. You're going to read about stuff every day, like I do. I read about podcasting each and every day. So you are enough to answer the need for somebody else, whatever your industry is. I just wanted to get on that. So I don't want people, and I'm skipping around the next question as far as equipment, because, and I don't think I'm going to answer that one, because the equipment that you need, what I propose and suggest to you, it's cost efficient for one thing, and it's equipment that I use, and I cover that in the module. We won't do that on this video. We won't on this episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. There are a couple other questions. I'm looking at the time, a couple other questions that I really want to get to. So we cover equipment. I'll just tell you that it's cost effective, it's efficient, and it's what I use. All right. So what about exploration? This is where I look up on pivoting and reinventing yourself. You know, podcasting is an excellent way to explore a passion. Maybe you're not going to start a business. Maybe you have learned something and you do want to teach that. You want to expound upon that. You want to share that information. Podcasting gives you a chance to really explore that industry. For all you know, that subject may be something that turns into your next business, your side hustle. You never know. It's something about following your passion. There's something in particular and magical about going after what just sticks in your gut. So don't downplay it. You know, get yourself on a platform and just really ride that thing of exploration out as far as podcast goes. And, you know, let me debunk one thing also while I'm here. A podcast is just audio and video files that are together, and they're big files. They've been put together, and now they are at your expo. They are where you can find them. Okay, they are evergreen. Once you upload them to your media platform, they're always going to be found. That's what they are. So with that said, I want to tell you that you don't have to do a show every day. You don't have to do a show every week like I do. You definitely don't have to do a show every month if you don't want to. In your why, and this is what I teach people, that your why. What is your end result? What are you looking for? Some people just want to do a series, and that is going to be a tutorial that they refer people to often. Some people just want to do a podcast and share that link in their newsletter. So do not get hung up on the fact that I don't have the time. I'm not available every day to do a podcast, not even 5 minutes. And some people, you know, it can go on down the line in increments. So think about what works for you. Do not let time stand in your way as far as starting your podcast up. I just want to put that in. What I want you to know about Podcast Academy Online is that we cover all of this. We cover who you are. We cover the relevancy of why you are here. We keep that first and foremost. We keep you focused on the benefits of an author being a podcaster, an entrepreneur being a podcaster. You build your audience around that platform, that why. Who are you? Who is your audience? Who is your listener? We build all that around where you're going, where you're headed. And it's a it's a membership platform, business model. And I find that that works best because you can learn at your own pace. There is no looking to the left and looking to the right and, oh, I better hurry up on this worksheet. Yeah, you have worksheets that I give to you. You better hurry up because so-and-so is way down the road. We're all on module 1, but they're way down the road. You can't even worry about that. 2 things I want you to know. It is definitely self-paced at your own pace. If it takes you a year to go from idea to launch, that's your business. Number 2, there are no stupid questions at the Podcast Academy online. Each week we meet up and we have a Q&A. All right. I don't have a Facebook group. We are going to meet right there in the academy. What's said in that group stays with that group. And if we need to take it larger, then we can. But each group, there are people that are just starting out. I won't yoke you in with the people that are way on down the road, but the building of your podcast business model will be the same, if that makes any difference. I don't want you to run into this comparison and feeling some kind of way because somebody already has their domain name and they're set on that and you're way back on your why. We're not going to have any of that. Every episode, every podcast is created in its own right, in its own way. All right. So let's just make sure that I want to make sure I let everybody know that assignments are available to everyone, though. I have created workshops in the modules because there's something about taking time and writing it down. Very powerful. I send you a binder, a Podcast Academy online binder, so that you can keep your worksheets together. Quarterly, I bring in someone who's going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about lighting. We're going to talk about what it takes to become a stellar guest on someone else's podcast. We're going to discover all of that. I have built in a resource center because there's gobs of information always about building out your podcast. And then there are the little things that go into it, building it out as far as a business. There's mindset things that I bring to your attention, all right? So it's just brimming over with information. And we cover, I'm always looking for feedback. We cover your questions. We cover what's new in the Q&As. And I always give you feedback. I have one person who's already started. She's already, her first podcast episode was already published and she asked for feedback. So I gave her feedback. It's that type of community. It's that type of atmosphere. We'll keep it light. We will laugh. We will share the essence of this journey. It is one fabulous journey. And as I connect with different people, and when you are ready, I will offer you up to be a guest on certain podcasts. So it's not like you go to the Podcast Academy online and you go through the modules and it's just static. No, there's interaction. There's energy over there. There are resources always being uploaded and shared. There's conversation that's always going on. And if you decide that I just really, Marco, I need for you to work with me one-on-one. Let's get this done. Then we can do that because quiet is kept. That's how I learned. I sat up under someone who did exactly what I wanted to do, what I was looking to do. I had a podcast here and a podcast there. I was familiar with podcasting, but I didn't know how to podcast from the inside out. I wanted to take the hurry up route. When her business, her voice, her conversation had to be built upon an organic, needed, molded, deliberate, intentional platform. And that's what I'm teaching you. Because if you decide that you're going to go with a major network one day, and you very well may decide to do that, then your podcast business model is going to be intact. Something happened and you decide that you're going to break out on your own and you move over to another media hosting platform, then the structure of your podcast is intact. That's the main thing. So just wanted to answer a few more questions about Podcast Academy Online. Keep the questions coming. Go over to my website, schedule a margolevette.com. Go over to services, I believe, and podcasts. Go all the way to the bottom. And there's a place where you can actually schedule a conversation with me. I want to make sure that I get as many future podcasters, I get their podcast built and get them launched, that we get that done, all right? Because we've all had to change the way we think, one way or another. If it's no more than how we go to the grocery store, if it's no more than how we take our jogs and our walks, we've all had to pivot, AKA reinvent ourselves. So if it's time for you to learn how to podcast, then in whatever capacity and whatever amount of time that you're going to do it, whichever way you're going to use it, I want you to know that the Podcast Academy Online is here. Go over to podcastacademyonline.com, register, and let's get busy. Register and walk about. See what's going on. The very first issue, the very first episode, I have something special for you over there. And I'm going to always celebrate when you complete a module. Oh, we're going to have a celebration. It is not going to go on unrecognized. All right. Every milestone that you make is a milestone that I'm going to stand at the chalkboard with you and we are going to celebrate. I want you to know that you're not here. You're not in the Academy forgotten. Not at all. $19.99 each month to be a member of the Podcast Academy Online. I hope to see you there, and I'll be back next week. I think I'm going to take one final week to answer questions concerning the Podcast Academy Online. All right. Hope you enjoy these episodes and share them out. I've been answering questions all the month of May, making it clear. I just want it to be clear that this Podcast Academy Online is for men and women. And yes, I say for boomers, but you know what? If you are an adult that doesn't mind taking their time to build their podcast out, this is the place for you. Her business, her voice, her conversation, predominantly women are here. But fellas, this academy is for everybody. Because what I recognized, they did a little soft survey. I was shocked by what I found. When I surveyed out, just giving people information about Podcast Academy Online, you know how many people really took a look at that Facebook post? More men than women. I had 65% men interact and take a look at that post. I was shocked. I know that I have men as guests on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. I know that you all have subscribed and you listen, but I was shocked that we are picking up such momentum with men. So that lets me know that you're listening to podcasts, you are paying attention to what's going on, and I would wager to say you have a podcast ready to be birthed, ready to be thought out, ready to be put on the blueprint, and then let's start building. All right, let's start building. So I'm Margot Levette, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Be sure to go over to my website, www.margolevette.com. My books are there. I believe there's a link to the Academy there. If not, definitely Podcast Academy Online. All right, go there, take a look, walk about, and I bet you're gonna stay. All right, talk to you later. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.